different plants, different voices, and different ways of having conversations. It's time to get personal with plant medicine. Welcome to Getting Personal with Plant Medicine. I'm your host, Diana, and I'm joined by my sometimes co-host, Christopher Deaney. How are you doing today, Christopher?
Good. A lot going on. So,
Right? Okay, so
lot to talk about.
where do we start? Is there a place to start?
I don't know. I actually, you know me, I just talk. I usually go off the cuff and I
Yeah.
just talk but I actually created an outline today because I have to kind of
Yeah.
focus on what we're doing here because there's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, basically July 1st, I don't know, most people have heard about it by now. But July 1st, the DEA came out with a bunch of notices that scheduling was imminent on a bunch of substances.
Mm-hmm.
So at first, we heard about the 7OH. The 7OH threat, it was above a certain threshold. Right now, the scheduling looks like if they don't make any changes on the threshold, it looks to be August 5th,
Mm-hmm.
where anything above 0.050% 7OH is considered a Schedule 1. They're looking at it basically as synthetic versus natural. That's the easiest way to explain it. That was the first shock to everybody going, whoa, what's going to happen here? So that's really where to start because that's the biggest thing people know about. People are very familiar with 7OH. They're very familiar with, natural kratom leaf has some 7OH, in the drying, but it's very minimal. So I wanted to just explain that real quick because there's a lot of confusion. People are like, they're going to ban all natural leaf. There's going to be no leaf left. This is going to, blanket ban or, whatever you want to call it, just ban all kratom because the 7OH threshold. And that's not true at all.
Right. The language is very specific on that one.
Yes. It's very specific about natural versus synthetic, the threshold. I actually ran a bunch of analytics through all our testing when this first happened earlier in the month to see where our natural kratom falls within this threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And our not strongest, but nice strong batch of green mang dods at 1.57% mid. And the 7-hydroxy's at 0.00538. That's the naturally occurring.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 10 times lower than the threshold. Natural leaf kratom falls, a good batch of natural leaf kratom falls 10 times below the threshold. So what does this affect? Obviously, and also a 1 milligram limit per article. So we have to define what an article is. We have no idea what an article means yet. Is that per serving, per package? So that's some of the details need to be worked out. But as of right now, it's 1 milligram per article or the threshold of 0.50% 7OH in the overall weight. So like I said, our dry leaf powder falls 10 times lower than that. So I knew natural leaf was okay. That's fine. The question now is, what about kratom extracts? Nobody's really talking about that. Everybody's like, well, it's just, no. We know a lot of products that have been put in the market before 7OH came around that had elevated 7OH, that had pseudoindoxil and some other products in it. And we were like, this is not kratom. We brought attention to that years ago. So 7OHS in the last 3 years has pushed it to the limits and really screwed themselves by calling themselves perks and everything else. So they put the nail in the coffin there. But over the years, there was plenty of kratom extract products that were definitely a little elevated. You would, you have natural kratom consumers who try them and be like, whoa, that feels like really strong. And I'm like, well, read the label, see what's on it. And over the years, we've seen in there on the label saying real small print, may contain 7OH, may contain pseudoindoxil. So these are the things that were, unscrupulous vendors and companies and bad actors added to kratom products over the years, calling them kratom, which was another problem we had. So we're dealing with that by having the 7OH threshold. That's going to eliminate a lot of those products out of the market.
Okay.
This is going to be kratom powder, natural kratom, and this is going to be natural kratom tinctures and extracts. You're not going to see super amplified products anymore. They're going to be illegal.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be problematic in in a bunch of different ways, right? Because
Yep, yes, it is.
even just at the kava bar, I've seen people come in who have bought the other products that are synthetic
Yep.
that but they don't know, and they're coming in and asking for the tea and
Sorry.
saying like this isn't it, you know what I mean? They're not
Yep.
experiencing the same outcome because it's a completely different product. And unfortunately, that does hurt us as an industry because it's like if you had started with the whole leaf, you could tell the difference. But unfortunately, the labels can be confusing sometimes, and sometimes people just they're in a hurry. I don't know. They don't always read the labels and or understand it, and that's
Right.
not a judgment. It's just the reality. Um, and I think this is a good thing ultimately in a lot of ways as well. It's like one of those things where it's kind of bad and it's kind of good, yeah, right?
There's so many different conversations going on at the same time with all with these decisions. There's a lot of conversations happening at the same time. So yes, it's. I mean, this isn't just 7OH. They have, like I said, 4 different actions at the same time. This is a 7OH threshold, but you also have tianeptine going through regular scheduling. The 7OH is emergency scheduling. The tianeptine is regular scheduling. Then you have another emergency scheduling at the same time for pseudoindoxil, MGM-15, and MGM-16. We just mentioned pseudoindoxil.
Mm-hmm.
That was the other additive being added to some products over the years. That is now going to be Schedule 1 as well. MGM-15, that has been on the market in the last year as DHM. DHM is so-called product, alkaloid product, or whatever. It does say not for human consumption, research chemical. It's not calling itself kratom, but that is something else that's also going to be scheduled.
Is that
On top of
pseudo?
that,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is that
go ahead.
pseudodoxinol? Is that like the stuff they were putting in cold medicines a while ago?
No, it's different. It's almost like if when your body metabolizes natural kratom, you have metrogenine, which is the main alkaloid in kratom. Then the main alkaloid in kratom, you have trace amounts of 7OH that get metabolized in the body, but very tiny amounts, not like you're seeing in the commercial 7OH products. Very tiny amounts naturally. But after that little tiny 7OH metabolite, that dissolves into and comes down to a tinier metabolite, pseudoindoxil. Then that pseudoindoxil metabolate's even tinier and comes down to MGM-15.
Mm.
So what they figured out is a way to just take these molecules and isolate them and create them in a such unnatural way, an enhanced way. It's not kratom. That's all I got to say about it.
Okay.
It's not kratom.
And like you said, there are a lot of discussions going on, especially in the advocacy groups, right? There are some people who want the 7OH banned completely, and then some who do not. And I know that you like to stay kind of neutral in that discussion, but
I'm not neutral anymore, but
okay.
it's all right.
I was going to say, what is your current opinion on that? On that whole
I've always spoke the science. I've always said the science. I never really had my opinions. I follow the science. I follow at the University of Florida. I've worked with Christopher McCurdy. I've worked with, all of them, every one of them. And, I don't know how else to explain it. We worked with the University of Florida for 5 years with kratom research. We helped fund some kratom research and different things in that area early in the day. So we're well aware. We were told back in 2018, 19, when this research was still new, but they knew enough that don't try to make products that take this natural alkaloid balance out of balance. Don't take it out of the natural balance. Once you start taking it out of the natural balance, you don't have kratom anymore. You have some other type of product. So that's what we've seen. All these other products come out into the market that call themselves kratom, but they're not kratom. So that could be 7OH, super concentrated extracts, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. They're not kratom. They're far from what the plant intended, what nature intended, and they don't work the same. So that's really been my opinion this entire time. I know there's people benefiting from some of these compounds. Obviously, I know that. There's a whole chronic pain community that swears by little amounts of 7OH, that they're taking 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, some of them 20 milligrams a day, and they're really benefiting, and their life's never been better, and they finally have pain relief. And, that's a segment of the people that I hear the good stuff from about the little amounts. Then I have the people that are knocking on my door that are hooked on 500 milligrams a day and can't stop taking it. And we're told that this is the new and improved Kratom at the smoke shop last year or the year before. So I know both sides.
Yeah.
I know more than both sides. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I see this from a policy standpoint. It's not natural. It's never going to be approved. The only way it's going to go through a regulatory pathway is through some kind of pharmaceutical development. It does not line up there's no pharmacology of Kratom to 7-OH. Very little. You might have the same molecule, but that's about it. So when they look at natural Kratom, you're looking at 50 plus alkaloids that are all doing things together. That's not what's going on. And people really think that they're buying pure 7-OH in the smoke shops and out there. They're not. They're not. I've seen the results 2 years ago. I've seen them last year. I've seen more 6 months ago. These products are coming back with unknown compounds, unknown opioid compounds, also coming back with undisclosed pseudoindoxil, MGM-15. It's like a chemical soup. You're getting a chemical soup product at the store, and they're telling you it's this magical 7-OH product. Well, you don't even know if that's even 7-OH anymore, and that's a whole nother subject.
So I know you talked about the smoke shops. You touched on that a little bit. And I know that the popular vernacular is to say gas station, whatever, fill in the blank, right? But you and I don't really like that because that's not necessarily true. There are a lot of other retail spaces that have these things for sale. But you in particular don't really focus on putting your products on a physical retail shelf.
Nope.
Even though we do have quite a few customers at the Kava bar who have asked, and we just always point them to your website. But
I will. We'll talk because I would like to have my products in a Kava bar.
Oh, okay.
Or a bar, yes.
Well, that would be great.
Just but not in a smoke shop.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit more. I know you've talked about it before, but just for those who haven't heard previous episodes.
Well, as far as what?
Like, why don't you want your product to be in a smoke shop?
Okay, it's basically one clear reason why. People don't have the education about Kratom when they go into a smoke shop. I need people to have education about Kratom. Kratom's not for everyone. I don't want people just grabbing products, not knowing what to do with them. So when you come to our online business or our store, you can call us, you can text us, you can read all the information on our website. You can get properly informed for months, as long as you want, before you make a purchase. I want somebody to be informed before they make a purchase, not after they make the purchase. So that was my most important thing in my way of getting across to people. I want people to be educated. So if they were going to a Kratom bar or a Kava bar, that's a great place to be educated, or a health food store, just not a smoke shop or a gas station. That's not, my wife said it back in 2019, Kratom deserves better than a gas station or a smoke shop. And it does. It's a medicinal plant. It's been used for thousands of years, and it needs to be properly looked at, and people need to be educated about it. So I think it's gotten such a bad rap, honestly, being in a smoke shop. We've been doing this for 11 years. I've seen it get such a bad rap about being in a smoke shop. And people have asked me, like, people in the health field, alternative medicine field, they're like, why the hell is it in a gas station? Why is it in a smoke shop? Like, this is a medicinal plant. What the hell is it doing in there? And I don't have a good answer. I wasn't there for that. I didn't start that.
Right. So to that point, though, if someone does go into a smoke shop, say, they don't want to go online for whatever reason, what can they look for when they're looking at the packaging to make sure that they're not accidentally buying something that has the alkaloids you discussed, or not the synthetic compounds? Like, how do they decipher that? Like,
that's the hard part right now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Well, that's like right now I've been discussing different with different cities and towns and states trying to ban Kratom. And I've discussed this. I've gone and said my story, my testimony. I've testified. And I have had plenty of private conversations on the phone, email. And the main question they ask me every time is, how can I tell the difference between this Kratom and that Kratom? And I explain to them, regular normal Kratom's a tea powder. You might see it in some capsules and stuff like that. And they're like, well, we don't see any of that in our stores. They're like, we don't see any of that. All we see is the tablets, the 7-OH, this stuff, that stuff, the shots, the drinks. They say, we don't see any of that powder. We don't see capsules. We don't see any of the normal Kratom. And when I first started this, 80% of the products in the stores, even the smoke shops and gas stations, were regular kratom powder and capsules. Now it's flipped, and none of that stuff's there. Not that that stuff's inherently bad, but I just listened to a scientist the other day talking, and it was very educational because I always knew it, but they're finally putting down some rules about it and seeing the science behind it. So they're saying, what would be a serving size? What would be a standardized serving size? And they said 40 milligrams twice a day. Mm-hmm. Okay. Second question to that was, well, is it the same size 40 milligrams as you would get from powder compared to you would get from a drink or an extract shot? And she said, absolutely not. She said, with the powder, you're getting the fiber, you're getting all the alkaloids, you're getting that digestion at a different rate. She's like, it is not the same. It is not the same. The drinks, the tinctures, and the shots do not work exactly the same as the regular powder.
And we should clarify the drinks, because we make the tea at the bar. That's not the same thing as some of the drinks that you're discussing.
Nope. No. What you make is just tea.
Crushed
kratom tea.
Right.
I'm talking about the extracts, the seltzers, a lot of these other products that you see in the market. Okay. Yeah, yes, 40 milligrams is 40 milligrams as far as a safety standpoint and all that. But does it feel the same way? Is it exactly the same feeling? No, not at all. So that's the education. That's like, people need to understand that you're not going to feel the same way from a cup of tea as you are from a seltzer.
It's like with cannabis. You can't, if you have an edible, it's a completely different delivery system than smoking. And even when you smoke,
it's definitely different.
It's different if you do vape compared to whole flower, depending on if you use a dry vaporizer or you use it with roll. Like, all of these things factor into how it will impact you.
Yep. And, a lot of people ask me all the time, they're like, well, how much metrogenine's in kratom powder? I said, well, it depends. On our website, you can read our lab testing and it'll say, I used green Mangda before, 1.57. So that's 15, almost 16 milligrams of metrogenine per gram. So, it's basically, if you have 1.5% metrogenine in a gram of kratom powder, you're going to have 15 milligrams per gram. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. If I were to have 5 grams of kratom, 5 grams of kratom would be 75 milligrams of metrogenine. So that's my normal amount. It's 5 grams of kratom.
Okay.
So a lot of times you see the seltzers in the store that are 75 milligrams of metrogenine. Well, that's about equivalent to a 5 gram, serving of some good kratom powder. But is it going to feel exactly the same? No. You drink that seltzer real quick, that's going to hit you real quick. There's no digestion. It's just going to come in, and be out very quickly within an hour or two. The powder is going to take an hour or so to work, or 20 minutes to start noticing it, and then an hour to maybe 2-3 hours to fully get to its peak level, and then back down. But a lot of the drink shots and liquids and a lot of the extracts, it's real quick and real dumb.
Okay.
So it's not the same. You don't have the fiber in the plant. You don't have all the alkaloids either.
Right.
So it's never can compare it.
No. And I know you've talked about it before, but again, for those who haven't listened to previous episodes, what would you say people can do, or how can people become more aware of what's going on with these emergency hearings and updates? Because honestly, if I didn't have you in my life, I probably wouldn't know about half of it, even though I try to stay in the know.
It's been on the news, but it really hasn't been on the news.
Right.
It's been the first week you heard a little bit of chatter, and then after that, we pay attention in the community to all of it. So we're watching it more than anyone. But there's not a lot of talk about it. This is, if you didn't know, you're probably not going to know. And the next thing, like, I try to let customers know when they're having bans in their states and emailing them and letting them know. Maybe 20-30% of people open up their emails. You know what I mean? I'm trying to let them know something's going on. Can you get involved? And then something will happen. And then I'll get a call 6 months later, because they might only order once a year, once every 6 months, once every 90 days. I'll get a call. Oh, I can't order. No, you can't. They banned kratom in your state. Well, when they do that, I sent out emails. You know what I mean? I don't know how to get more people involved. That's
I know you're constantly working. I don't know how you could possibly do more. But I mean, is there a way for people to kind of, I guess, clue in on their own? In addition to what you do. Like, I know that you can get apps like 5Calls where they'll give you prompts to call your local representatives, and I'm sure you can get it tailored to Kratom. I haven't tried it yet, but I actually do want to email the app developers and see if they can add that. But anyway, you can call. It gives you like the person, you put in your zip code and it will show you all of your representatives. It will give you a sample script and you just hit the button and it will call them and you can leave a voicemail.
Yep.
What are some other ways?
I know the American Kratom Association and the Global Kratom Coalition have a lot of that stuff on their website. They'll let you know what's going on. You can sign up for email alerts. Laura Romney from the International Plant and Herbal Alliance, she's doing great advocacy work. She's, if you want to donate your time, your testimony, get in contact with her, and she'll be able to, you could find her online, Laura Romney, International Plant and Herbal Alliance. You can find her information. Just contact her. She'll take down your email and name, and when there's alerts in your area, she'll let you know. Like, hey, in your town or your city or state, there's going to be a kratom ban. Would you be able to go up and testify? And a lot of times it's remotely through Zoom.
Okay.
So it doesn't take a lot of time up that way. But it's not as much driving as it used to be. But they want to hear from constituents. They want to hear people from their area. I live in South Jersey. When there's a ban in Massachusetts or in Arizona or wherever else, yeah, I can hop on the Zoom, but I'm not from that area. They really don't. I matter, but not like it matters if I was living in their backyard.
Right. It doesn't have the same impact. The issue. Though it is still very important. And that's awesome because I think a lot of people don't realize that they can do that over Zoom. No,
they don't. I mean, it's very convenient. Even my local town has their meetings twice a month, Wednesday evenings, and they have a Zoom option.
That's awesome.
So if I'm listening about data centers or whatever else is going on, I could hop on their Zoom, listen to what's going on, hop off. I don't have to physically drive there. So, anybody can get Zoom capability, and it's free.
That's awesome. And if you want something more in person, more in real life, we're going to have an event coming up the first Sunday of September. If you're in the time machine, we're talking about 2026.
It's been nuts. With
Christopher, and we'll also have Douglas LaRose from the Kava Coalition answering all of your burning questions about Kava and Kratom. It'll be a live podcast recording, so if you have questions, you will be included in the episode. And we might have some giveaways as well. So come check us out in Mount Vernon.
Oh, yeah.
At Root City Kava. September 6th. We'll put some details in the show notes as well. But stay tuned about that because I think it's going to be a really good event. Staying educated.
That's
the 6th.
That's the 917 Cathedral?
Yes, that's right. Thank you for that.
I'm just looking at it right now. I want to see how long it says Baltimore.
Right, it is. Mount Vernon is the neighborhood in Baltimore, so it's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get people.
40 minutes.
Oh wow, we get people from like West Virginia and all over. So, I would say if you're local, even if you're not local and you want to come into town, please do.
Man, I'm driving an hour and 45 to get there. So
thank you. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end? Any specials on Christopher's Organic Botanicals?
As of the moment, just your normal. We have our point system. We always get 10% points back on everything, free shipping over $50. We might have to change that moving forward if UPS keeps trying to kill us. But it's been rough as far as the small business right now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're working on our new batch of white Mangda and green Malay right now. We're waiting on release testing. So release testing is probably about another week. So next week it'll be up. We'll have them back up. And what are we doing in August for production? We were just talking about it. White Vietnam, white Borneo, and yellow Mangda.
Oh, see, I'm giving white a try these days. And in small amounts, I think I really like it. But I do.
I like it.
I do like it. And I want to also say that the point system is the best point system I've ever encountered on a retail site. I mean, and the customer service is top notch. I always get my package like the next day practically. I swear. I'm like, wait a minute, I just ordered that.
Yeah, it's all up to USPS sometimes. We don't know. Oh my God, they're horrible some days, but then some days they're great. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's true.
But yeah, it's it's going to be interesting when we see each other the first week of September. We'll have a lot to talk about. Everything will be in stone by then, probably.
Yeah.
So then we'll have rules, laws, and we'll see where we're at.
All right. Well, thank you for filling us in today. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Christopher's Organic Botanicals, a family-owned and operated South Jersey business for all your kratom needs. We share the love, passion, and integrity of kratom and traditional herbal tea products. Shop small and support local businesses. We've got a wide variety of products you can check out on our website. Shop tea, powder, capsules, crushed leaves, and extracts from the comfort of your keyboard. Simply visit Christopher'sOrganicBotanicals.com. The testimonials speak for themselves.
For me personally, I use it for energy in the morning. I was hit by a car as a little kid, so I was always looking for something to get me moving a little bit better. This helps basically lubricate the joints, helps me get things going, and makes me feel a lot better.
American Kratom Association audited and approved CGMP vendor. Like us on social media and call us with any questions, 609-202-6880.
Getting Personal with Plant Medicine is brought to you by Christopher's Organic Botanicals and is produced by Your Highness Media.